Every enterprise expanding to the edge faces the same operational constraint. You can scale your infrastructure blueprint across dozens or hundreds of remote locations, but you cannot scale your IT staff along with it. Dispatching a skilled engineer to every new edge site to rack, configure, and commission a host is expensive, slow, and simply does not hold up at scale. With VCF Edge 9.1, Broadcom eliminates that constraint entirely. What you're looking at here is the zero-touch provisioning architecture, also known as vSphere elastic provisioning, the capability that takes a bare metal server from the moment it powers on at a remote site to a fully registered member of a vCenter cluster with zero on-site human interaction. The workflow is straightforward by design. A new server arrives at the edge site directly from the OEM. It connects to the network. It powers on. From that moment forward, everything happens automatically, orchestrated from your primary data center. Let's walk through exactly how. This is the starting point, your primary data center environment. vCenter is already running, and it serves as a central control plane for everything that follows. The key services that make zero-touch provisioning possible are already in place here, the DHCP server and the vCenter auto-deploy service. We start by creating a staging cluster in vCenter, which will be used for the initial host placement through zero-touch provisioning. We provide the cluster name and select an image for the cluster. This image will be used to provision the new hosts by ZTP. Now, we navigate to the auto-deploy section and select a newly created cluster, and we click on Enable Zero-Touch Provisioning. We can see in the Tasks menu that a network boot bank is being created for hosting the ZTP image. Next, we will create a deploy rule to match new hosts to our cluster. We click on New Deploy Rule, provide a name, and specify the pattern of hosts that should be mapped to this rule. In this case, we're providing our DHCP IP range. We then select the host location to map the new hosts to our staging cluster using this deploy rule. Once the rule is created, we need to activate the rule. We navigate to the Configure tab to find the HTTPS boot URL. We will embed this URL in our DHCP server so that when a new host boots up, it gets this boot URL along with its networking information. This way, the host knows where to get its image from. The entire ZTP chain is triggered by a DHCP request. When the bare metal host at the edge site powers on for the first time, it broadcasts a DHCP discover request. It has no IP, no OS, and no configuration at this time. The DHCP server is configured with a specific DHCP option that returns the UEFI HTTPS boot URL. That URL points directly to the vCenter auto-deploy service. This single configuration item is what turns the standard network boot into a fully automated provisioning event. The UEFI HTTPS boot process requires valid TLS certificates so the host can establish a trusted connection to the auto-deploy service before downloading the ESX image. This is a critical distinction from the legacy PXE-based provisioning. The entire image delivery path is encrypted and authenticated. TLS certificates are configured as part of the ZTP setup. Once in place, every host that boots through this workflow communicates over a secure, certificate-validated HTTPS channel from bare metal. We can get the vCenter certificate by using the command shown. The server at the edge site has been racked and cabled. That is the only human action required on site. When it powers on, the UEFI firmware initiates a network boot. The configured DHCP server at the primary data center responds with the UEFI HTTPS boot URL pointing to auto-deploy. The host now has everything it needs. It reaches out over HTTPS to the vCenter auto-deploy service and requests its image. From the perspective of everyone watching this at the data center, the edge site just called home and is asking to be provisioned. The ESX image downloads over HTTPS and the host begins auto-provisioning. ESX installation completes and the host registers directly with vCenter. You can see it here appearing in the inventory. Critically, it has landed in the correct cluster as defined by the deploy rule. At this point, the primary ZTP workflow is complete. A server that was bare metal moments ago is now a fully registered vCenter cluster member, ready to run workloads. And nobody at the edge site touched a keyboard. This is the handoff point from the ZTP boot workflow to the next stage of automation, that is post-registration configuration via the VcfEdgeAtScale PowerShell module. ZTP gets you to this state, a registered connected host with no human intervention. What happens next is equally automated. This module automates everything that needs to happen between host is registered and edge site is production ready. That includes networking, storage, vSphere Supervisor enablement, and Supervisor services. This is a single module invocation that drives the entire post-provisioning configuration journey. We follow the instructions outlined in the Git repository and install the PowerShell module. We then initialize the module to generate a folder with the base setup. I have pre-populated these files for this demo, and I'll move them over to our newly created folder and access them through the JSON generator UI. This is where we tweak the script for our environment by providing our vCenter, networking, storage, and supervisor details. We also place our TLS certificate that will be used by the Harbor Supervisor service in the same folder. We can then review the generated JSON file and make updates to the file directly as well. We then start the Edge cluster configuration. The script reads the target cluster configuration, validates the environment, and begins executing the configuration workflow automatically. The script creates our edge site cluster and asks for permission before moving the host from the staging cluster to the newly created edge cluster, ensuring that the correct host is being moved. The host is put into maintenance mode and moved to the edge cluster. The module then configures networking, migrating from the default VSS port group to the VDS-based networking. Then storage follows with VMFS data store provisioning. Then the module enables the vSphere supervisor on the cluster. The supervisor is what transforms a standard vSphere cluster into a Kubernetes-enabled platform, capable of running both virtual machines and containerized workloads through a unified control plane. Once the supervisor is enabled, supervisor services such as Argo CD and Harbor are deployed as well. Harbor provides a local edge resident registry for container images, ensuring that workloads at the edge can pull images without requiring a round trip to the remote registry over potentially constrained WAN links. Argo CD is the GitOps continuous delivery tool. With Argo CD running at the edge, workload deployment and configuration changes are driven by Git. The desired state is defined in version control manifests. Argo CD continuously reconciles the running state of the cluster against the desired state. This is a critical capability for managing edge fleets at scale. Rather than pushing changes to each site individually, operators commit changes to Git, and Argo CD propagates them to every edge cluster automatically. The cluster is now fully operational. The hosts are connected, supervisor is active, and the edge site is ready to accept workloads. Both supervisor services are running, Argo CD is active, and Harbor is healthy as well. Zero-touch provisioning in VCF Edge 9.1 fundamentally changes the economics of edge site deployment. Broadcom has engineered this capability to remove the two barriers that consistently slow edge expansion: the need for on-site expertise and the time cost of manual configuration. The combination of auto-deploy, UEFI HTTPS Boot, deploy rules, and the VCF EdgeAtScale PowerShell module creates an unbroken automation chain from bare metal to a fully operational production-grade edge environment. For organizations operating at scale across dozens or hundreds of edge locations, this is the architecture that makes that scale achievable.